the universe would immediately become a motionless universe of black, immeasurable cold. It would be without the image-making faculty, and without intelligence. Its knowledge would be that of mere perception of the reality of existence, without the ability to form idea or to conceive it. All dimensions of motion are registered in the minute particles heretofore referred to as light units. As all motion is expressed in waves and registered in form, and as form begins to evolve from the integration of light units, it is well to briefly define the dimension and structure of the light unit, in order to correct the misconcept of matter as something apart from life and light and energy. All effects and dimensions of first cause begin with the birth of each light unit. Each point in the universe is the center of the universe. Each point is the beginning and the end of each 10-octave swing of the cosmic pendulum. Each newborn corpuscle, or light unit, is a center of disturbance from which the entire universe responds to its alternating electromagnetic pulsations. Motion, once started, never ceases until it has run the entire gamut of the 10-octave range, from which point it begins again. The light unit of the highest octave and the lowest potential eventually become a light unit of the lowest octave and highest potential. Light units are omnipresent throughout the universe. All effects of thinking throughout the universe. Nothing is which is not universal. Light units are the beginning and the end of that super majestic illusion which man calls creation. They constitute all that man calls created things, which in truth are creating, evolving things. The creating of these corpuscles is as continuous as thinking is continuous. The concept of man that corpuscles are existent in perpetuity is as wrong a concept as the concept that they are unchanging in their electromagnetic charges and other dimensions. Reproductive waves of electromagnetic motion in opposition are made up of corpuscles to register, as dimension in matter, the idea of thinking mind. Corpuscles are the children of generative energy, born of generative energy, and continued by generative energy, even as you and I and they die of old age through lack of it, even as you and I. They are living, thinking beings, male and female, even as you and I. They organize and integrate into complex forms of matter through the elements of matter, which register the ideal of all thinking. Elements of matter are orderly, periodic dimensions of the substance of matter. They are living, breathing, pulsing children of light, children of the Father-Mother substance of mind, even as you and I. Yes, even as you and I, for of such and of nothing else are we composed. Light units are born into this universe of illusion as an appearance, registering an ideal of thinking mind, even as you and I. They take their place in complex systems of complexing ideal, ever registering the complexing of the ideal of thinking. Man is but a complex organization of light units, functioning under the government of that ideal of thinking mind called man. Light units exhibit all the characteristics with which man is thoroughly familiar in living organisms. They inhale and exhale, inflating and deflating in the process, just as man does. They generate energy through absorption and lose it through fatigue, just as all life does. All light units and systems of light units are both generative and radiative. as all more complex living organizations are both male and female. Just as the male of all creating things is both male and female, but preponderantly male, so all light units and systems of light units are both generative and radiative, but preponderantly one or the other. They integrate into form, and they disintegrate into the disappearance of form, just as all growing things evolve and devolve. They have their periodicities of sleep and wakefulness, which is their periodic day, just as all life and all mass has its similar periodicities. Also, these characteristics are repeated in all multiplicity of light units combined in greater mass. Repetitiveness is an absolute characteristic of all effects of motion. All mass inhales and exhales, exactly repeating the simple, familiar phases common to all life, for all matter is living matter. The sun inhales and exhales. The 5.5-year contraction of the sun to its maximum sunspot period is its inbreathing, and its alternate dilation to its minimum sunspot period is its outbreathing. There's no difference in principle between the breathing of a light unit and that of a giant sun. The only difference in effect is one of dimension. The pulsation of a light unit may be 30 trillion to the second, whereas the giant sun may complete one inhalation in 5 years. Inhalation is for the purpose of continuing the apparent existence of form in matter. Inhalation is regeneration. It is integration. It vitalizes, nourishes, refreshes. It continues that which is known as life. Exhalation is for the purpose of discontinuing the apparent existence of form in matter. Exhalation is dissolution. It is disintegration. It devitalizes, exhausts, fatigues. It discontinues that which is known as life and leads ever toward that which is known as death. Light units have the appearance of individuality, even as you and I. There is no individuality in this universe of mine, but there is but an appearance of individuality. This is a universe of one thing. That one thing is mind. The substance of thinking mind in action is light. There is but one substance. The one substance cannot be divided into many substances or many parts. Individuality is but an appearance, an effect of potential in the periodicity of thinking. These little rotating particles of light associate themselves into inter-revolving or gyrating systems, which continue the motion given to them by the energy of thinking. These systems are the records of all idea expressed in thinking. They are the living storehouses of the energy of thinking. The energy expended by mind in the process of thinking idea is not lost or dissipated by thinking. If thinking did not register itself in light, and light did not integrate into the forms of idea, the created universe would not be. All thought is registered in these systems of light particles as a means of continuing its evolving appearance of existence as idea, just as man's voice is registered in light particles which reproduce throughout the universe with the speed of light as a means of informing the rest of the universe of man's thinking. Idea of mind registered in light is living, and through reproduction it continues the idea of itself in its orderly complexing throughout the entirety of the universal circuit of thinking. These little particles born of universal thinking in its highest octave are the first manifestations of what man calls life. They are the first manifestations of the appearance of individual existence. They are the beginning of the appearance of separate existence. They are the beginning of the appearance of opposites.